everyone, how are you today? Welcome to another episode, or another adventure, I should say, with me at Pink Dragonfly Wings. Awesome. So today we're going to make a little fold over pocket like this out of book pages. And it has a little tag in here, so we'll make a little tag. And this can be used in your scrapbook, your junk journal. You can clip it to the top of the page like this. You can slide it into a pocket, whatever you want to do with it. You can add color or not. That's entirely up to you as to what you want to do. So this is what we're going to make today. So let's get started. Okay. Alrighty then. The supplies that you're going to need today are 4 book pages, and I use these book pages from some, I don't know what they're called. They're books that give synopsises, I guess, maybe, of other works of art, and they're all combined in a book, so you get, you kind of get what kind of work it was, who the actors are, and then a critique of it, and then the story. And they're usually about this long, 1, 2, and a little bit more on another page. So we have, I'm going to use these because I'm going to fold down, so I want this to be able to show. So this will be our main page. We're going to have 2 book pages for this, and this is going to be our front cover. This little part right here, and that's going to be made out of 2 more book pages. Now this one, because it's going to be covered up, I'm going to decorate it. I'm using these pages that are kind of finished at the end. They're blank. That's where the story ended, and you have this blank part. And because we're going to cut that out and use that for our pocket, then it won't be so difficult, I guess, to cover this up. So decide which pages. You're going to need 4, approximately the same size. Choose which 2 you want for your front or for your main piece. This is going to be the main piece, and these are the 2 pages I've chosen for the cover. So we're going to get started. Decide which one you want for the front and the back. Since I'm already going to have, I'm going to cover this part up, I'm going to use the words here. And we're going to get our little gluing book here. I get these huge magazines in the mail, of which I don't need. And so I use them to be my glue books. So we're going to glue. Make sure you're gluing on the right side. This is the side that I want on the outside for right now, because that's going to be my fold down. So we're going to, well, if I can get it to be still, we're going to glue all the way down to the page number on this page, because that makes it the size that I want it. But on this top, we're going to go all the way to the top. We're not going to go side to side, because we're going to cut that off as well. Okay, then we're going to make sure that we have our words the way we want them, and we're going to line up the top as best we can evenly and glue down. Use your burnishing tool or your bone folder, I guess is what these are called, and spread that glue around so that everything in there is nice and smooth. Make sure you go on your edges really, really well. And then if you want to go ahead while you have your glue out, you can go ahead and glue these 2 pieces or you can do it later. That's entirely up to you. Looks like my glue stick is about gone, so how about we throw that one in the trash and get a new one, or another one. It's not new because I've used it. I have them partially used, laying all over everywhere. Now we're going to cut above the page numbers on this one, so I don't really worry about anything that falls below the page numbers. Okay, and then we're going to turn this over because this one is cooler, I think, and line them up, burnish them down really good. Go across the bottom. And then we can set this one aside for a minute. Okay, we're through with this for a second, so I don't know, we may use it again, we may not, I don't know. All right, so now we're going to get our cutter, and for this I'm using the Tim Holtz decal cutter because I like the edges of how it's done. This again is our main page, so this is going to be our biggest page with the little thing on the front of it. We're not going to cut the top. We are going to cut the bottom right above the number because I want the number on there, the page number on there. And then we'll turn it up. And on this, I don't know if you can see this, but let's see if I can do that without turning the camera over. I put this little plastic guide here right at the edge of my words on this piece because I want there to be a little border around there. So you see there's a little, just a little border around there on the words. Okay, turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. Match our words up with the clear guiding tool. And cut. So now you have this piece here, and this piece is approximately 8 inches by not quite 5 inches, maybe 4 7/8. And so we're gonna use this. Go ahead and get your whatever this is. What is this thing called? Anyway, we're going to, our scoring board, that's it. We're going to score it down, put our corner up in this corner, and we're going to score it down at about 2 inches. Now, these pages are a little brittle, so you don't want to do it very hard. You just want there to be a crease there, so you'll know, it'll make it a little easier to fold down. That's the only time you'll have to use that. Then we'll fold this right down here, and that's going to make our little flap. Now, if you were, you don't have to use book pages on this. You can use cardstock or other things, but these book pages are so thin. I was really afraid after the first one. I just made them with one sheet on each, and I was really worried that they might not hold up over time because the pages are kind of brittle. Plus, they've been coffee dyed and baked in the oven, which makes them even a little more brittle. So, I doubled the pages. And let's go ahead and cut this one while we're cutting so we can put this away out of the way. Now, on this one, I'm going to cut off the page number on the bottom because I don't want that page number and this page number to conflict with each other. Oh, looks like I might have thought ahead of myself and made a mark there. So I'm going to cut it off about right there. Now then, we're not going to worry about the top because we're also going to cut that off. And we want this to be about 4 5/8, I think, is a good amount for what I'm doing. So I'm going to put this right here. We've already got it marked. So we'll turn this in here, hold this up, and cut it on that mark. About 4 5/8. Now, if you want to turn it over, if you've got words on the back, you can do that because it's easier for me because measuring is not my real forte. Math is not my thing. So I usually just kind of eyeball things. So I want this piece to be a little more narrow than this piece so that it will look layered when we put them together. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm going to pull these words out a little bit and put the words on the edge of my cutting blade, not line it up with this little thing. Okay, so that'll make it a little narrow, more narrow. We'll do the same on the other side. And this could be a personal preference as well. I just want it to be a little more narrow. So we're going to turn it over this way so you can see the sides on it. Pull this up, and we're going to put this on the front of here. So it looks a little layered. If you want the layers to be a little bigger, then just cut off a little bit more. It doesn't matter. It's what you like, what you want. Let's cut a little bit more of it off so we can kind of see what it's going to be. We'll just cut it off one side since it's not going to matter. And then there we go with a little bit more edge on it. I like that a little better anyway. Okay? So we have our pocket part and we have our main part. We're done with this for a minute. And now what we're going to do is ink up the edges really good. Okay, so we're going to... Oh, no, before we ink, we have one more thing we need to do. This fold right here is going to kind of wear with time, and with it being brittle, I wanted to reinforce that a little bit. So I have this really cool tassel washi tape. And so I'm going to cover this on both sides, right down the center. Of that fold. And that will help reinforce that fold a little bit. Sure it will if I can get it down there. And give that fold just a little bit more strength. Then I'm going to turn it upside down and put the Castle washi tape on the other side. So the reason that we're doing that is so that when we look at it, the castles will be right side up on the front, as you see here. So here you're looking at it with your pocket, the castles are right side up. When you fold this down, your castles will be in the right direction. Would have been better if I'd have, centered that up a little bit better, but I didn't. So, and then I take my little cutter again and lay it right out here. And the good thing about this little cutter is you can line up these little marks again very easily. If you can remember which way you did it. So let's fold this out and we'll just snip that right off. Turn it over here on the other side. Then that way the little section that has your washi tape on it is going to have the same pattern on it as your edge. The edge of the page. And then we'll just throw that in the trash. And now that we've got that reinforced a little bit, now we are going to paint the edges. Now, if you wanted to, you could round the edges on here. I did that on this one. See, the edges are rounded. Just be sure and round the edges on both pieces. But I think on this one, I'm going to leave them square. So we're just going to leave them. We're going to start inking. And those of you that have watched me before know that I'm a pretty heavy inker. So I like the pages to be really dark, the edges to be really dark. I feel like if you can't see the ink on it, why bother to go to all the trouble to ink? So I like it, and I want it to come up on the edge of the work around here. So, but that's your personal preference as well. A lot of people don't like inking. White space kind of bothers me, and I tend to ink most everything I make. So there we go. And then we're going to turn it over and ink the back as well. Now, if you were going to glue this down and glue this down to your page in your journal, you wouldn't need to ink the back of this. But since I'm not sure right now what I'm going to do, it won't hurt for it to be inked. So I'm going to go ahead and ink it so that when I get ready to use it and put it in a journal, it will already be ready to go either way. And so I'll just go all the way around this, all the way around. Inky, inky, inky. And this little piece right here already had a little tear in it. And so we might want to put a little glue, just maybe some art glitter glue, and just put it right here to hold that together a little bit. Also, in a little bit, when we get ready to put our ephemera on it, we might want to use something to cover that up, maybe on the inside, just to kind of help reinforce that a little bit. But this glue works pretty good, and you can just run it around with your fingers so that it gets in the edges of the paper, and that should hold it down pretty good. All right, and then, you know, like I said, white paper kind of scares me, so don't have to worry about down here. This is going to be covered up with a pocket, but I kind of dirty it up a little bit, grunge it up a little bit. You can do this or not. It's up to you. It's, you know, I just really like the grunge look and the dirty. That way, you know, I have never made a single thing, I don't think, in my whole entire crafting career that I didn't leave something, a little smudge or a fingerprint or something on it. That kind of helps cover that up. Okay, we'll go ahead and ink this little puppy around here as well. And get this ready to apply. Like I said, this is really, really a quick little pocket to make. Ink around the edges like we have. Make sure you have it, because it is about 4 5/8 by about 4 1/2, so it's a little bit more narrow than it is wide or tall. So make sure you get it in the right way. In this one, the words are going up and down just like this one. So now on here, you can glue this around the edge, but we're also going to sew it. So if you feel comfortable with not gluing it, that's okay too, because you should wait a little bit for that glue to dry before you start introducing your sewing machine to it. And then we're going to glue it right here. I did not put a little half circle here, because this is going to fold down. So our tag is going to fit up above this just a little bit. So it's going to be very obvious that there's a tag inside there. Now then, you can leave it like this and be perfectly content with it. No problem. Or if you are into sewing, you can sew it. And so I already have one that I've gotten up to this point that I've sewn around the edges. So I'm going to put this one aside, let it dry, and we're going to use this one. And I left the strings on it. Now, let me explain how I sew this, because when I did not glue it. I just laid it on here and held it, and I started right here and go down, around, and back up to right here. And by the time you finish here, you're going to start here, you're going to turn it, and you're going to sew back this way. It's going to be upside down. Take it and turn it over and start where you left off sewing, right here, and sew this way, and this way. And I don't know, the reason that I do that, I don't know if it's me, if it's my sewing machine, if I don't have it threaded right, or I don't have the right tension on it or not. I don't know. But this side doesn't look as pretty as the outside. You can see that those zigzags are much more defined here than they are on the inside. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm sewing on paper. But anyway, so that's why I turn it over and make this, when I fold this down, all of this looks the same. Okay? So if you want to do that, that's great. If you don't want to do that, that's great too. This is your pocket. And I haven't decided whether I'm going to leave the tags on it the strings on it when I put it in the journal or not. But I'm going to leave them on there for now. And then that way, when I get ready to do it, if I don't want them, I can cut them off. It's easier to cut them off later than it is to put them back on now. And then, also again, because these book pages are pretty brittle, I have made a little, I guess you'd call it a tab kind of thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it up to the edge, increase it. I'm going to glue this in here. And glue that together. Now, the reason that I'm doing that is because, like I said, these book pages are a little brittle, and that tag going in and out and in and out of this pocket over time is going to wear this down. So I'm going to glue up to the sewing. This was just a scrap that I had cut off of something else in one of my experiments that failed. You won't see that video. But this is the remnant of that video because I saved it. You know, I never throw anything away. Even it up on both sides and slide it right down in here to make that little zigzag tag right there. Okay, and that will add just a little bit more strength to the inside of your pocket here. Plus, it makes it look kind of cool because you've got the stitching up here on the top. You could also stitch this top part of the pocket if you chose to do that. I think I did that on this one. I sewed it right here across the top, but it's up to you, whatever you want to do. All right, so now this little pocket is ready to go. Now we need to decorate it, of course, because, well, why not? So we're going to decorate this. Now I've had an aqua one, I've done a purple one, but this one I'm going to do in pretty much neutral colors because I don't really know what I'm going to use it in yet. So I have a little box of little pieces. See, there's some more of my failure. And so these are some little pieces. And I got this idea from Louisa Heinzel. She does, I think her channel is Junk Journal Art. If you have not watched her, Oh my gosh, go check her out. She is unbelievably awesome. And she showed us in a video how to kind of jazz up your scrap pieces. So go watch that video. It's awesome. So I'm going to get some pieces, and I'm going to try to stay away from the color because I want this to be neutral. I don't want to be locked into a color. And here's a little piece of a fabric. I can put that on there. Let's see. Let's just dig through here and see what we have. This is all coffee dyed, painted. That's a pretty cool piece. Here's one with some letters on it. That may be a little bit small for what we need. This is another pretty good piece, but I think we need to tear it down a little bit and maybe put this over here. And I have a little snippet here, and I make these little snippets. Now, when I was doing my videos before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I had a channel, and I did a lot of videos on there, and I did a video to show you how to make these little snippets. So if you want to know how to make those, go check out my channel and see some of the earlier videos and see what there is. Let's see if we put this maybe this direction and put this up here. And then maybe we don't want the purple on this, but I like the little things, but it has lines on it, so you could write on it. So if you wanted to write something on here about what this is, you know how we do, then you can do that, and we can put this little piece right here. Okay, so that's what I think we'll do. So we are going to start with this one and glue. Let's see, I think I like this side better. It's got some inking on it, stamping on it. So we'll glue this down. Hope I am staying within camera shot. So just glue that down. Get a little bone folder, make sure it goes to the edges. And then let's put this one like this direction. Okay. And there we go. Well, and I am having a hard time getting started again. I don't know if it was because I was off with having cancer and dealing with that, and it's a difficult time, but I'm just having a hard time getting my mojo back, I guess. And so I'm trying to work on that, and hopefully it will continue to get better, and we'll see. We'll see how it works. But if you have any ideas for things you would like to see, or things you would like for me to do, or want me to go away, or whatever, then just leave me a comment down below, and we'll see what we can do about that. And then let's get this little piece here. I kind of like that there. Okay. Make sure those edges are all down really good. Now, I don't know about this. I don't know if we want to use that or not. I don't know. That looks kind of cool. Put that on there. And it's okay if we hang it off. It's a little, that's a little straight edged for me. But that's a really, really pretty flower right there. So how about that? I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, so let's get our Fabri-Tac glue. Fabri-Tac is a wonderful glue if you're using fabric. It will also do paper to paper and all, but fabric is it really helps with that. So it's a little expensive, so you kind of have to, well, I must have a string stuck in there. So you kind of have to use it sparingly, but that's okay. I'm going to leave all the little strings hanging. Put that on there. See if we can get whatever that is off of it. And then we'll put our little, this little thing right here. Just put some glue on the bottom. We don't want to put it on the gauze. It makes it stick down and then it doesn't look so fluffy. And we'll put that right there. Now, one thing you do need to be mindful of when you're doing a journal or your, is if you notice this has a button on it and that makes it a little thicker. So you can see here that it's going to be a little thicker to go in your book. So that may limit where you can put this particular page in your journal. But that's okay. You can either find a cool place for it. You can decide that a chunky journal alligator mouth is okay. Or you could take the button off or not put the button on. So that's entirely up to you. All right, so there's our book. We need to put a couple of little things here. Let's see if we can find a stamp or something. I have a little box here full of little stamps that I've been gifted over the years, and they're from everywhere and every kind of pattern or person. Really don't want to cover up my Wuthering Heights. So, wonder, that one's, what about this one? That one's kind of cool. And I'm not gonna cut this one. Now that I've already torn that one off. That one looks kind of cool, but it does have a little bit of blue in it. But that's okay. That would be just fine. All right, so let's ink this up. I like that idea. And oops. And we'll just, we don't need, well, it won't hurt. It won't hurt. This is good glue for anything, so I use a lot of that stuff. And we'll put that right there. And then how about we put this one on the inside, maybe right here. That'd be pretty cool too. And you can use any of the things that you have, anything you make, or however you want to decorate it. You can do it any way you want to. And then we'll put that right up there at the top. Very cool. And you can use a colorful one if you would like. You don't have to stay away from that. So, all right. Now, I think on our others, we put a little critter on here. I don't know what I did with my little critter book. Yeah, it's right here. So let's see what kind of little critters we have. That would fit in and be really nice for a naturey type journal. I made these little books here a while back for all of my little pieces. So let's see what we can find. It's a cool, it's got some red in it, but that would be okay. Here's one that's, oh, I kind of like that one better. And of course, I guess we could put a frog on it. Yeah, he's kind of cute, but I don't think I want a frog. All right, I think that the little elk is going to work just perfect. So we'll put him on there. And have a really nice little pocket to put in I think I'll put it right here. So it's a little more layered. And then we need another thing. We need a word or some words. And I have some words here. Let's see. See what kind of words we have in this color. Oh, a wonderful creature. That sounds awesome. Okay. Let's ink up around the edge of it. Glue the back of this. Just stick it right down here. There we go. And then we could get a little number and put, have all kinds of, here's a pretty cool little date. Ink this up, cut that little, whoops, that was not very cool. Cut this little end off so it's not showing. And we'll put it here. Okay. Now then, it looks a little bare here, but we're going to use this paper clip that has this seam binding that's been kind of crunchy. It's crunchy and whatever. Anyway, we're going to put that right there, so I don't want to put anything right there that's going to cover that up. Cover that right like that. Okay, there we go. And we have our finished pocket. Okay, so now we need to work on the tag. So we'll set that right there. Get us a piece of paper. If I can find a scrap piece of paper here. Get my other little scrap bucket out. I have all kinds of little scrap buckets. Let's see if I can find. Okay, I don't think that's going to be tall enough. But this piece might be. So let's get this piece. And let's see. And our tag, I think I measured before that our tag needs to be about 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. So we will do 3 3/4 inches this direction. Let's cut it a little more so we can do the same kind of crinkled edges on both sides. I think 5 inches will be, well, why did I do it? Oh, because I did it, because I'm doing the width. And now we will do 5 inches. So let's turn it over this way and let's do 5 inches. And that didn't cut just as well as I'd like for it to. Thank goodness I had a little extra space. Okay. Now then, on this, you can round your pieces. And I'm going to cover this side. This side is blank, and that can be our journaling spot. I'm going to get our little box here with our little nubbins in it, and we'll find some paper to cover this. Doesn't matter if you want to do it in a pattern or some pretty patterned cardstock. That would be fine. If you want to draw and cut something out or use magazine tape pictures or whatever you want to do, that is cool. And I'm going to overlap the edges. Make sure I get it laid down, because it is going to have to go in and out of that pocket, in and out of that pocket. Okay. And now I know lots of people really take their time and they try different things and all kinds of stuff. That's not me. I'm pretty much a dig it out of the bucket, put it on there, and go with it. So that's why I guess my things look so haphazard sometimes. But it doesn't matter whether your words are right side up or right side down or however you want it. Just pick out pieces that you like, and I'm making a collage on the front of this. Maybe. And that's a cute little page. Oh, it has a little duck on it. All right. Don't think we need the whole thing, but a little duck would be really cute right there. See, look at him. Isn't he cute? Okay. Oh, that side looks even better. Wonder how that would work. I like that side even better. So let's see if we can tear this side down just a tad so we can make our edges raw on both sides. Okay. Oh, but we lost our duck, didn't we? Oh well. Bye-bye, ducky. Be a little more careful with that next time. Here's a little piece that we can put here on this little where it didn't quite meet, and turn it around so it looks kind of cool. Save that little piece. We don't need those little nubbins, but let's see if we can find something else in here. See, that's another dictionary page. What about this one? That's pretty cool. Okay. I like that. Yeah, I guess we could put the lined part on it so we could use it as another journaling space, but I like the other side better, so we'll use the other side. Okay. Piddled with it long enough, and now I'm going to have to put another little piece up here because I kind of tore it a little bit, but that's all right too, because you know it's scrapbooking. So what about that little piece? That looks okay. I like that. And this is very brittle. It's some old music paper that a wonderful friend sent to me. And so we'll just cover that up a little bit. And there we go. We have a nice little tag. Set this over here out of the way. And we don't want to decorate this per se. Simply because it's going to go in that pocket, and we need that to stay pretty flat. So we're going to line up our little pages here, cut off the edges so that the front pages are deckled as well. It would be better if I could wait for it to dry, but I can't do that. So and then we have a cute little tag. Get all my nubbins up. And we're going to need to ink it. I'm using Vintage Photo Distress ink. And I at least want to make sure it's not going to show much on the top of this card because the card's already kind of dark. But that's okay. I at least want to make sure that the edges of that cardstock are covered so that it looks better, a little more finished. And we'll do around the edges on the back, and that's all. We're not going to worry about coloring it all completely in. We just want to do the edges. No, that was a squirrely way to do that, but I don't know why that happened that way. Okay, again, you can round your corners if you would like. No, you don't have to. Now, I am going to need to wait to put this in here permanently until this glue all dries so that it doesn't possibly stick to the inside of our pocket, but it will slide right down in your little pocket right there. Leave it. If you want to put a little tab or something on the top of it, you can certainly do that, but it's sticking up, so it will show. So somebody will know that there is a tag there. So, all right. There we go. That's our cute little tag with or a pocket with a tag, ready to go in your journal. So I hope you enjoyed our visit today. I hope you will come back, and I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me. Bye-bye.